And I am here to talk with you about sexual abuse recovery. A significant part of my testimony is that I have gone through an unbecoming process to thrive after incest, childhood trauma, and resulting loss. It's significant to note that seeing a trained clinical therapist was pivotal for my recovery, my process of not just surviving, but thriving. And that process it wasn't what I thought it would all be, but it worked for my good. Let me explain. So,
To learn this key, I want you to keep watching. There's good stuff ahead.
the counselor that I went to, she was actually a Black female. And she had, I feel like, a really good experience to craft a good and comfortable treatment plan for me. And there were moments, for example, she asked me some questions around some of the lingering thoughts and concepts that I had, and some issues and trauma that was ongoing because of the proximity between myself and my abuser from my experiences of incest as a child. And some of the dynamics that then fluctuated in my family because of that trauma, etc. Being a spiritual and prophetic Christian, one who's, really committed to being faithful and loves Jesus, I'm sharing certain experiences with her that are supernatural in nature, very dynamic, that type of thing. And there was a couple moments when she was just like, okay, yeah. But we had gone through all of the initial assessments. So I think for her, she was like, well, she kind of tested just fine on certain aspects about where she lies in various different spectrums, So perhaps this is just spiritual. We'll keep a pin here. You may need to revisit. I don't know. But seriously, there were some moments when I was looking at her and she her jaw was open, wow. I'm not quite sure she knew exactly what to do with some of the things that I shared with her. But she asked and I was being honest. But my time with her was good. The reason why I stopped was a couple of different things. I had to move, and so me moving created more distance. It was just a little more challenging for me to connect with her. And at that time, to my knowledge at least, she was not doing a lot of telehealth. This is well before, our paradigm now of the pandemic and a lot of mental health services certainly being managed online and that type of thing. And so after I moved, I stopped seeing her, and I certainly wanted to get back into counseling. And so I decided to connect with a Christian counselor. And what was so interesting about that experience, that particular counselor didn't work out because of some funding things with my insurance. And so it would have been way too expensive for me to work with her. And so I then transitioned. But my experience with the Christian counselor, it started out pretty good, but there were certain things that was missing from my process, which was interesting to me because I was like, and I've got to be fair because we weren't able to really do the length of time of work. And I think the most important point that I want to leave with you is that sometimes we envision in our mind what the process will be like. And so when it doesn't manifest like that, there can be this letdown, this frustration. But one of the things that is a massive skill set within the scope of counseling is to give it some time, to look for certain things that, certainly would be non-negotiable. Talked about this in the last video. So for sure, check that out. But for sure, give it some time. Recognize that the transformation that you are desiring will take some time. And be okay if it's not playing out exactly in the way that you thought it would. Give it some time. And then also, I feel that it's healthy to talk with the counselor about your expectations, things that you're hoping for, and how things are progressing. Because counselors need that feedback to be able to meet you where you are and to meet you in that space that you will feel most supported. And also recognize that there are times when the counselor needs to challenge certain ideas, certain expectations, and that type of thing. Because some of the things that are our expectations can be in the way of the transformation that we're seeking. So hopefully I've shared some things that will help you in your process of navigating your counseling, and you will be able to fully become your best self. I want you to know that you can thrive after incest, trauma, and resulting loss. I'm here to help you thrive using personal development, inner healing, and high impact life skills. We'll talk soon.